Hello and welcome to the Collapse Experiment. Oh man, I am not feeling the best today, but something came up, so I'm going to cover this anyways. This is the Twitter account for somebody named Claire Napier. She decided to take it upon herself and start trashing a dead man just before he might possibly get a posthumous award after his death. Why would she do this? Well, because she's a bitch. But we can get into more details about that in a little bit. This story came to me actually yesterday. I wasn't able to watch it until this morning, but your boy Zach, he came across this, and I think he was just as surprised as I was that this type of shit is still going on. So anyways, who is Claire? Let's establish that before we get into the thing that she decided to write, trashing Ed Piskor, who, as I've already stated, is no longer with us. Because, you know, it's very easy to kick a man, not even while he's down, when he can't fight back at all. He's 6 feet under, all right? Yeah, trash him then, because there's no retribution. Well, bitch, there's retribution now. So, she's been a comics critic, red flag right there, critic, since 2012, a comics editor, since 2017, and a horror romance cartoonist since birth. Really? Since birth. I'm sure your birth was a horror. Yeah, 1987. So this chick is in her 30s. Utter Madness, your favorite Top Cow podcast. Everybody's got to have a fucking podcast now. It's insane. Where she is the co-host until she decides to, I don't know, write a piece about the actual host and try to take the show from him. You know what's going to happen. Something's going to happen. So, anyways, let's, must be some of her shit. Okay. I wrote about a cartoonist who died. Wow. Okay. And how I think we should start to handle remembering them. I already downloaded this. I've got it in another screen down here. I'll pop that up in a minute or so. But what I want to cover is 2 things. Here's her website. Claire Napier, freelance comics editor, critic, and cartoonist. Okay. Where is the other fucking comma here? You're an editor, and you're missing a comma. That's another big red flag. Me, I am a fan of this right here, because these 2 things are linked together. That's why you separate them with commas. I would not hire her to be an editor. She's currently available for hire. Gee, she is so in demand. Yeah, this is the chick right here. Why these people try to make themselves look as ugly as possible, I don't understand. So I already read the background earlier. A lot of it doesn't make any freaking sense. I think she's trying to be witty at some points. Having been involved with comic communities since Y2K. Yeah, that would be, the year 2000? Okay. She also would have been, 13? So how is she involved at 13? Just collecting comics? I moved into criticism and commentary with adulthood. With adulthood, okay. Helping build, fill, and run WWAC, first as features editor and then as editor-in-chief, leaving that website in 2021. I moved my criticism to Patreon. How's that working out for you? Coming out of public retirement for occasional critical commissions. So she decided to come out of retirement to write this piece about Ed. And I don't think anybody paid her for it. I think this was just like all of his accusers. This is somebody who realized that nobody's paying her for her criticism. So she decided to write something that might grab some attention and put it out there for free. And then, blah, blah, blah. I've been a producer of my own material as a regular lifetime practice. But regularly, okay. Usually, man, she can't write worth a shit. That was something that Zach pointed out too. I apologize. My sinuses have been messed up for the last couple days. I regularly forget this, and I start thinking, and I think that I started yesterday. I studied. Why is this in small print if you're trying to sell yourself? I studied animation and illustration at Bolton University between 2006 and 2009. I attended SGGS for secondary education and completed an art foundation year at Warwickshire College. Okay, this is like your actual education. Like, why would you hide that? There's that face again. Let's work together. I'm ready to help your comic shine. No, you're not. God. This is another horrible human. So this is her Instagram. Again, trying to find the most unflattering photo of herself. Don't know why. She even has a subsection here called Me, I'm Cute. I don't know if the British have like a different definition of what cute is. But, you know, for somebody who has a problem with Ed, she has a lot of actual graphic sexual content on her Instagram account. Yeah. A lot of this is really sexual in nature. The artwork, this is not good. Like, I could see if you're trying to put stuff together for somebody else to do the professional work for your comic or story or whatever, but some of this, I can't even, foot fetish right here, weird. Yeah, just a whole lot of disappointment here. Okay, somebody, and I'm guessing this is supposed to be like black leather, latex, something, rainbow stuff. Yeah, obviously, that it's kind of, you know who this is trying to appeal to. But then she's got, Gambit and Rogue repeatedly on here for some reason. Naked chicks. Yeah, who in their right mind? Okay, you have all this sexual content on there. You're, I don't know, using a scythe for whatever purpose. Like, this is your... I don't understand these people. I really don't. I've seen this for the last 10, 15 years where, you know, all they talk about is sex. They post this stuff online. They get offended if you talk about sexuality or anything like that in front of them when that's all they talk about. And then, yeah, they try to make themselves as unattractive as possible. I bet you, good money, this person was probably sexually abused as a child, which is why they have such a hang-up about it. And obviously, there's a lot of this where it's men and women, it's straight sexual content, but she's got this push for, like, the gay agenda. And, yeah, I think she has some serious issues. Yeah, tell me where they touched you on the doll without showing me on the doll. Is what a lot of this is. And if that's true, it's not funny. It's actually pretty sad. This person, is dealing with some things. And, yeah. Hopefully she'll just stay over in the UK. So anyways, let's get to this piece that she wrote. Piskor in retrospect. I believe this thing is like three pages long. And it sounds a lot like somebody, like she used voice to text transcription. Just because of like some of the things that she wrote in here. I dealt with a lot of this shit when I was in college, where people who had like a third grade reading level but were in college were told, well, write how you speak. And the paper would start out with, yeah, so like, and they would literally write that down. Because this was like 20 some years ago, the idea that somebody was able to just like talk into a microphone and have it transcribed onto the computer was, it was available, but it wasn't people that would have had access or the money to do so. So anyways, let's get to this here and see what she has to say, because there's already been a lot of things pointed out that she was inaccurate on. Like, she's writing about something, a topic she knows nothing about, which is most comic creators these days. Like, they don't know shit about superheroes. They don't know their backstories. Relationships tend to be garbage. This is not a piece for self-deleting people. If you want to self-delete, you are suffering whilst in danger. Okay? If you are suffering whilst in danger, it is not time to lend your mind to what let others make mistakes you are avoiding. I'm asking you to use me. I'm asking you not to use me to hurt yourself. I'll see you later, okay? Yeah, even the opening thing is just really wacky and wonky. Ed Piskor dropped out of high school due to extreme digestive issues brought on by stress. That is false. Even the first line of this is not true. He didn't drop out of high school. He went to the Jack Kirby School of Art. This doesn't make any sense. His social life was severely limited by the circumstances of his upbringing, and from around middle school he was isolated from children who had been his peers, speaking of suddenly finding himself a white child at odds with his mostly black peers. After hospitalization at age 15, Piskor was provided with 4 hours of formal schooling a week through teachers' visits to his home, and by his own description, his parents largely allowed him self-directed preoccupations, mainly drawing otherwise. School days curfew no longer defined his schedule. He began spending time mainly with older teenagers and adults outside of his family, staying out all night with them, sleeping late, and waking up for a 3 to 5 p.m. home lesson on the 2 days a week they happened. I don't know how much of this is true. I know that he did have some food issues, but for the first line to be so inaccurate, like just a complete fabrication, you have to wonder how much of that was actually true. And I would have to go and look into that, maybe find some interviews with him where I don't know where she found this stuff. In pre-adolescence, Piskor was used to the hostile banter of boyfriends, not one word, and spoke of their fully negative, provocative, artistic feedback with fond acceptance. He remembers this as providing an incentive to do better work. Later, at 22-23, when Harvey Piskor gave him sudden and unreasonable challenge deadlines while clashing with Piskor's birthday plans, Piskor buckled down forgot the birthday and hit the mark. Piskor was an authority and he wanted to please him. By 2013, to Mark Strobel for the Journal, Piskor disavows the work he did for and with Piskor. He was ashamed because he didn't think it's good enough. He feels he let Piskor and his legacy of comics down. Does this link work? Shit. No, it does not. Okay, so she does have, let's see here. Control click to follow link. Let's see here. Blah, blah, blah. Let's see here. Ed Piskor interview 2013. Okay, so she did research this. At least some of it. And okay, so I mean, it's not, doesn't seem to be all bullshit. I remember some of these comics. Yeah, I think I actually read that one before. Okay, so Burroughs, this must be when he wrote the, so there's 4 pages of this. I'm gonna have to go back and read it for myself. At the same 2013 interview, Ed Piskor mentions his chronic depression, habits of overwork, self-isolation, and fixation. His self-image seems contradictory. He mentions always getting good grades while in school, but definitely being the worst at most things. He says he worked his balls off implicitly. He characterizes his efforts towards success that he achieved, as evidence that it was unearned. What? Well, yeah, there's a lot of, like, people in different professions that have that imposter syndrome. I mean, Anthony Bourdain dealt with that. Like, he shouldn't have been on TV was kind of like his feeling, but there he was. People seemed to like it, but then he felt like he didn't belong. Still later than the Piskor collaboration, Piskor remembers spending a month not being able to get out of bed after a cartoon he worked on debuted with changes that he felt misrepresented his intentions, work expectations. He compares himself to Rain Man, citing his encyclopedic knowledge of the area of special interest. Rain Man, too obviously autistic, is not generally considered a cool role model that people want to be like. Piskor habitually, inside or out, wore large sunglasses and a hat with a brim to shade his face. It was also a hip-hop look from the 80s. In the same interview, again, Piskor tells Sobel how he used to... So she's just taking this one interview and writing this? That's kind of disappointing. Chastely naked picture of himself at the Jawtree table. That appears on the Ink Studs podcast blog as well. At the time on Google Images. Whenever I meet a girl who likes me and knows who I am before I know who she is, I'll bring up that in the first conversation. If she turns red, I can tell she really likes me. You know what I mean. Like, she's down because she's got a little flustered in my presence. So that photo has served a great function in my dating life. Well, he calls sending his picture to Robin Nick Connell? Robin, I don't know, maybe this is like a spelling error. To accompany the feature on the blog as himself, Piskor being a frigging douchebag. There's swagger to his claim, a self-censor that admits being too late to prevent the action. He enjoys having mixed shock value exposure with his work, with his sex life, and with conversation with women he has just met. Well, like most guys who are like isolated for long periods of time, especially during puberty, Never figured out how to interact with girls. 11 years later, when the comics Melu at large expressed distaste for Piskor's sexualizing treatment of girls or women within his orbit as a cartoonist, Piskor did not embrace this provocative condemnation as an incentive to do better. Oh, so she's going back to like he should have treated it like his art. It's funny because guys that treat picking up women as an art, as pickup artists, are considered to be douchebags. And now she's saying that he should have tried to be better at picking up women. He should have treated it like his art. I like to let that stand as the most important sentence in this piece. He did not hear, "That sucks, man. I can't believe you did that," as a natural incentive to do better work. Oh, man. Okay. Well, that's like your opinion, man. Piskor chose denial and invalidation and self-harm and blame his self-harm on that commentary of distaste. He did not blame it on the inability to deal with his own internal conflict. There was no internal conflict. These bitches accused him of shit that he didn't do. And they financially and culturally ruined his life. Like, what part of that don't you fucking understand? Stay over in the pond, okay? Like, you're closer to Russia than we are. I hope we don't back you when Putin decides to stomp your ass. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? If we ask, did he cite his history of depression, repression of social stress, and his predisposition to self-negation, and choosing to isolate in times of stress when explaining the reasons for his catastrophic self-harm? Dude, that's the profession right there. That's why your comics suck. These are the guys. The guys that deal with this shit are the ones who create the comics everybody loves. And for some reason, you're online right now bitching about this dude that you probably didn't even know about before he passed. And now you're trying to get some fucking brownie points with the Rainbow Crew. What the fuck? And I've never heard of any of this chick's comics. That's why she's available for hire. If you think this is good material and that she did a good job researching all of this shit, she's available for hire. It says so on her website. I hope she stays unemployed. Then we say that he does tell us, then we can say that he does tell us that he is a solitary guy. Whose every waking moment is put in the comics. They involve writing sentences and using rhetoric. What the okay, this is like her, this is her writing right here. They involve writing sentences and using rhetoric. Okay. Like, what? So, what does Piskor's rhetoric do? I don't know. You fucking tell me. It delivers resentful feeling. No. That's how you're reading into it. Like, what the hell are you babbling about? Creates blame for everyone who may separate him from his beloved comics. Dude, you fucking ruined his career. Yeah. He can blame everyone who may have separated him from the industry. He has the right to do that because that's what they fucking did. It creates then blame for anyone who said a cartoonist should not act like this. Act like what? It was never proven. You didn't look at the evidence yourself. You decided to go to some article from 2013 to figure out like his life story and to pick out things that he had said over 10 years ago and use that against him to justify the fact that nobody else is to blame for what happened to him. Like, what the Let's continue. I'm going to get through this whole fucking thing. So if you're not in for that, then drop out now. But no, we're finishing this, and I'm going to tear this chick a new asshole. Because if a cartoonist should not do this, and he does this, the algebra of the statement means that he should not be a cartoonist. I saw your artwork, okay? I'm going to say professionally, you should not be a cartoon. Like, if that's the quality of work this chick is putting out that she has on Instagram, no. Plus, it's got to... all of her stuff has to be, like, 18 plus from what I was looking at. It's not even for kids. Like, what is this sexualized bullshit that's hitting the shelves that for some reason is making it to the teen areas of like your local library, and they're not even directing comics towards kids. There's no hero quest. There's no adventure stories anymore. It's always like John likes dick. And yes, that's a double entendre. But that's what these fucking stories are. And so, if he must do this, and must he? Step by step logic says he should lose access to cartoonist status, and indeed, in part, for a moment, he did. Yeah, it was taken away from him. Piskor's rhetoric considers this outcome unacceptably grievous. Because it was. Like, what the hell is wrong with you? Piskor's rhetoric does not take responsibility, nor expect a reader to whom it is addressed to see Piskor's responsibility for his own response to professional censure. Professional censor. Yeah, okay. Let's discuss the professionals here. One was a 20-something who's not in the industry making claims about a conversation she had over years with Piskor. She's not in the industry. So professional censor? No. Then you've got Molly Wright, who slept with Piskor twice. Never mentions that in her claims. Removed the claim after it went viral. Probably because she knew that it was going to come out that she had sex with Ed and it wasn't just about a blowjob. Yeah, and then you've got, Alex DeCampi, Ramon Villalobos, people he never professionally worked with. These are just assholes online. This is your professional censor, is a bunch of assholes online. Okay. Yeah, and she's going on about taking responsibility. What about the responsibility of the people who made false claims about Ed and ruined his fucking life? What about that personal responsibility that you're not addressing here? It does not acknowledge his responsibility to act in such a way that comics can happily keep him within his golden circle. What? Yeah, this dude, from my understanding, he played ball with all of these fucking liberal retards forever. Like, bowing down to their every whim, and then they fucking came after him anyways. When are we going to find out about all the chicks that Villalobos is banged because he plays the rainbow card? And I'm a feminist. Yeah, and then he gets all pissed off because after he goes to, like, some pussy hat wearing convention, like, all the chicks are leaving with these grizzly dudes on, like, Harley Davidson and shit. Like, they talk about the sensitive man that they want, but in reality, they're just like, he's a man. He frames his censor and loss of upcoming opportunities as it being all gone. It... here means his perception of success in comics in life, comics as life, as a social agent, and as a cartoonist. Yeah, you took that. I mean, could he possibly have navigated through this? His life still never would have been the same. He was going to always end up having issues of, like, who's going to publish it? How's it going to be distributed? Is he going to get a paycheck? Or is anybody going to display his art in a museum? The odds are no, because a bunch of assholes attacked him for their own clout. But we are aware that his habit is to elide his own success from his perception of himself and his career. We are aware that his priorities, otherwise perception of him as a cartoonist, of worth over his own health or self-care. Sacrifices need to be made as an artist, and apparently her chubby ass has never had to deal with that. We are aware that he has childhood experience of losing a vital peer group to events that were outside his understanding or perhaps, in that case, control. No shit. Wow. It's almost like you're saying that minors don't have the abilities as adults to like navigate through life. Weird. We know that things he told us about his life, and no doubt there are things that we don't. We can say, I think, that Ed Piskor's response to being spoken of negatively by people who are aware of him as a well-published and critically acclaimed cartoonist of 2 decades or more, a figure in the arts, was outsized and sad, and that this sad outside... Oh my god, this writing is horrible. And that this sad outsized reaction was unfortunately congruous with the life that he had discussed. He acted rashly and destructively instead of integrating new feedback into outgoing... There is no I'm sorry. That's what you people have made abundantly clear over the last couple years of this Me Too bullshit. There's no apology. Like, you just keep going until somebody is fucking homeless or dead. So fuck you. No, now they're trying to say that he had an out. Bullshit. You fucking lying bitch. This does not happen simply because a person is unexpectedly called names that relate to his behavior by strangers. They're not strangers. He knew these people. He fucking knew these people. And they stabbed him in the back. Or even by professional acquaintances. Acquaintances, kind of a dirty word here. If you think you found a straw that broke the camel's back, do you tell everyone this straw is evil because the camel carried nothing else? What the... Okay, somebody's grasping at straws there. I think, damn, that camel was lugging all that shit around. What if the straw fell off the camel's back a little while ago? Oh my god. This chick is aggravating me. For a limited time, cartoonist K-Fab, Piskor's podcast. Is this why she has an issue with Piskor? It's a competitor against her podcast? I never actually found a podcast, but I did find that it was a YouTube channel. How would you... That's what I don't get about a lot of these comic pop podcasts, is how do you discuss a visual industry on a on a voice-only platform? That's kind of tricky. Put out a shirt that said Frederick Wortham can eat a dick. How should we condemn that kind of shit-chatting? You don't. You just don't buy the shirt. You don't agree with it, you don't buy the shirt. Obviously, there's a market for it, so fuck you. How viciously was it supposed to land? However people took it. So apparently she got an issue with him having a podcast. She has an issue with the shirt that they put out. You don't have to buy the product, dumbass. Is it different because Wortham is dead? Is it different because we can see material results of Wortham's pernicious behavior in comics and looking at how creep shit affects women and people men think are probably... Wait, what? And people men think are probably women. So now she's trying to pull in the whole trans thing? Is that what's going on here? This is ridiculous. Looking how creep shit affects women and people men think are probably women. Even when they are cartoonists. Even cartooning as a scene that suffers loss and imbalance when misogyny weighs our ranks out. just doesn't register that way until we let it. And a lot of us just won't let it. Okay, that's why your comics suck. Finally, okay, so we're reaching the end here. Oh, she has a post here for the t-shirt, by the way. Grab your Frederick Wortham Can Eat a Dick t-shirts, more cartoonist K-Fat merches. Okay, that's for their audience, it's not for you, so fuck off. When men can't take gendered social criticism, the ability of everyone else to deal with it is crushed beneath a wave of murder accusations. You are killing this scene. You killed this man. You killed his career. You killed this extremely happy man's joy. Yeah. Crazy how that only happens to the fellows. If you put out good work, perhaps you wouldn't be unemployed. I don't want to hear this equal opportunity bullshit. You don't have a market. Nobody's buying your shit. It's nobody else's fault but yours. Why would someone do this to him? In 2021, Ian Thompson, known for the Journal, described controversy as a feature of Piskor's carefully curated brand. If the man beneath the brand cannot stand controversy on his own ledger, is it everyone else's fault? Well, this is where... Okay, let's flip the script here. Because you've got Alex DeCampi talking about how, oh, we're getting so much hate now, and everybody's blaming us, and it's 10 times worse than what Piskor had to deal with. Well, you set the agenda, bitch. So, what the hell? Like, now you're complaining about the same shit that you've been receiving. When Piskor signed off from public life with one last bitter missive, he sexualized a woman who had objected to his prior sexualization of her, rejected his sexual interest, classification of his behavior towards him, using familiar misogynistic language, and characterized himself as pitiable, lonely, yearning, as underdog. Perhaps he yearned. What do women in comics yearn for? Can we yearn together? Well, you tend to yearn for each other. For one. As for like all these are again the accusations that were made. Where are the rest of the DMs? Where's the rest of the messages? This doesn't make any sense. Like, this was never proven. This was shit that was snipped out. Alright, last paragraph. Piskor spoke about a mob having murdered him and also asked the people reading a note which remains online to punish a range of specifically named people. Well, you've been added to the list. He cannot have it both ways. He is either not forced into action out of nowhere, blameless and inert in his own account by a mob, or he is himself a mass murderer by intent. What? Or he is himself a mass murderer by intent? Is she referring to self-deletion, or is she trying to say that the t-shirt killed a bunch of people? You jackass. Supported by those who control his estate. Are you fucking kidding me? So which is the truth? I think that genuinely needs to be answered in the popular imagination. Oh, the mob. This genuinely needs to be answered by the mob. You want it to be answered by the same people who led to his death. Okay. I don't think it's hard. It just takes incentive. It just takes trying. It just takes accepting the prompt to improve. If you feel worthless, you're incorrectly informed. You can learn to see your value. Oh, for fuck's sakes. Now she's trying to backtrack and like, these are the things I would have said to him. Maybe he'd still be around. No, you joined the mob, you ass. But you can't do it by blaming bitches or disliking the behavior of someone even you don't care for. You don't do it by blaming bitches at all. No. Like, that's the difference between men and women. How do you write women so well? Well, I take away reason and accountability. Yeah, there's no accountability here. You can't do it by blaming bitches at all. Yeah, you can. Because they are responsible. See, she does this whole thing here of his personal responsibility. He's responsible for what happened to him. He should be accountable. He's the one that should have made changes in his life. He's the one that should have been listening to women. He did listen to women. And that's what it led to. He listened to women for a long time. He was in this leftist social circle doing the whole like anti-Nazi thing. I'm a feminist, blah, blah, blah. And this is what it led to. You can't do it by blaming bitches at all. Her word, not mine. Yeah, you can. This is, again, somebody else not taking accountability for what happened to Ed. And trying to point the finger. Now she wants him to be a man. They spend all this time trying to feminize men, leading to what happened to Ed here, where he's already socially awkward. He already doesn't fit in to the general public. He's already isolated. He's in a career where he's so good at his stuff that he's self-isolated because he actually works at becoming better at his art. But she's trying to say, well, he didn't try to be a better person. Yes, he did, you asshole. You don't even mention, you read one fucking interview and you don't mention any of the interactions between him and Alex DeCampi for years, where she called him out for saying something or doing something, and he would go and apologize for it and say that he would try to do better. He was listening to his peers all the time, and his peers still fucking stabbed him in the back. This poorly researched piece of shit. Obviously here she had an agenda. 5 years ago. She brought up something from 5 years ago. This is why people kill themselves. Because there's no redemption. She brought up this fucking t-shirt from 5 years ago, trying to point it out as like he didn't try to better himself. Leave this chick unemployed. That's where she needs to stay. This Claire Napier. Critic. Yeah, you know why you're a critic? I mean... Okay, so here's the... What is this, by the way? Is this... What? She's trying to... Oh, my God. Yeah, poor... What the fuck is this? Is this her book? Is this one of her books? Or is this some other piece of shit? I don't know. It's 10 pounds if you're interested. So anyways. Yeah, her artwork sucks. She's a critic. Of course she's a critic. Means that she's not good at the thing that she does. Food critics can't cook worth a shit. They just eat and complain. Movie critics never made a movie in their life. And then there's the comic critic, Claire Napier, who doesn't know how to do research, reads 1 or 2 articles, decides she's going to write a 3-page paper about Ed Piskor and personal responsibility. And, yeah, how about listening to Ed? Obviously, you read his note, and now you're trying to deflect because he can't argue back. So brave. It's so brave of you. Good job, Claire. You fucking bitch. Keep on typing.